So I've been doing all my work off this 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro. And while it's been a really, really great machine, sometimes editing from a small screen can start to get a little bit tiresome. But as you can tell from today's video, that's all about to change. When I decided that I wanted to invest in a monitor, I started doing a lot of research. So when Apple announced that they were releasing the Studio display, I figured that was the monitor that I was going to get. But as I did more research, I realized that there were going to be very similar options. And yes, they might not have the same bells and whistles and the little tricks that the Studio's display does have, such as the webcam and the incredible Dolby Atmos speaker system. Most of it was quite similar. So when I had landed on the option of getting the Huawei, I was incredibly impressed because the thing that stood out for me with the Studio display was its design. And when Apple has put out monitors, the Pro XDR, their old Apple Cinema display, the design is beautiful. And this HUAWEI MateView is no slouch, as you can see. Incredibly thin bezels, and it even comes with this height adjustable stand. Now, I don't know many monitors that have an all metal build. Like at the top of my head, it's currently just this one, the Studio display, and the Pro HDR. And so as you can see, this design is stunning. And so for me, I couldn't justify spending the price because this here in Europe is 569 euros. And that's about 700 or 800 Canadian dollars. And unfortunately, it's not available in the United States because the situation with Huawei there. But you can, from what I've heard, find it on eBay. And I think people have said you could find it for 700 or 800 US dollars. And that is still much, much, much cheaper than Apple's $2,000 display, because with the height adjustable stand, the monitor comes out to $2,000. In terms of specs, they're quite similar. They're both IPS panels. The Apple display is 27 inches. This is 28.2. While this is only 4K versus Apple's being 5K, I think that we're consuming 4K content. And when we start to produce more 6K or 8K content, I think that's where it's really going to matter more, is having monitors that can display the 6 and 8K. So for me, the 5K was kind of a moot point. Now, because we are editors, color reproduction and color quality is incredibly important. And with the Apple display, it is DCI P3, but they actually don't say what range that sits in, whereas this is 98% DCI P3 and 100% sRGB. And as you can tell, this is one of the photos I took. It looks amazing. And even when I color grade in Final Cut, the colors come out really, really great, because for me, I haven't really ever worked on a 4K monitor, let alone a 10-bit monitor. So the colors just pop. And that's one thing I'm really, really excited about, is to be able to have the opportunity to really dial in the look and the colors of my work. Now, this is a 500 nit display versus Apple's 600 nit. And they're both only 60 hertz. Now, the monitor is powered by a removable USB-C power cable, which I think has such a huge advantage over the Apple display, which has a non-removable power cord. But it also has a removable power cord from the power brick that will allow you to switch to different countries' power adapters. And not only that, but the monitor can power your laptop up to 65 watts. So right now I have my monitor plugged into the wall, and from the monitor, a single USB-C cable to my MacBook Pro. And the whole setup essentially is very, very minimal. And even though the MacBook requires, I believe, 80 watts or 90 watts, it powers it completely fine. It has kept my laptop powered at 100% the entire time that I was editing not only this video, but editing all my super heavy files from the A7 IV. Now, one of the things that really separates this monitor apart is its aspect ratio. I don't know if you can tell, but if you don't know this monitor, it actually has a 3:2 aspect ratio. So this photo is taken straight out of the Sony A7 IV, and the photos come out of the camera as a 3:2. So it fits perfectly onto the screen. And on top of that, when you are editing, you just have about this much extra real estate on the bottom for your timeline or your content. And in terms of productivity, you can really have the screen in half, and you're really getting like 2 full 8:11 documents on your screen. And it's wonderful to really multitask and to get a lot of work done at the same time. The bezels on this are almost next to nothing. I think it has like a 93% body ratio to screen. If you've looked at Apple's screen, it's not even as thin as this. One thing that I'm still getting used to is the fact that it's a matte screen. While I think a lot of people would find that as an advantage, I've heard from some other photographers and creators that the contrast levels can be a little bit skewed. So that's something that I have to keep an eye out for. And I wouldn't say that it's a negative, but I would just say that is something that you should be aware of. It doesn't come in a glossy screen like the Apple display, whereas they give you the glossy option or the nano texture option. It only comes in matte. So be mindful of that. Now, if you are part of the Huawei ecosystem, this does have a trick up its sleeve. It has the sort of wireless connection. You just bring your device close and it'll sort of screen mirror your content from either your laptop or your tablet or your phone straight onto the monitor. But since I'm not in that ecosystem, I just have it connected by wire, and you have these ports here, USB-C, two USB-As, and the headphone jack, which is amazing. It does have a speaker, and while it's not Dolby Atmos like Apple's, it's there. So I think if you're looking for a monitor for your work as a creator, this is tough to beat. It gives you incredible color reproduction. It allows you to be super productive simply because of the screen real estate. And on top of that, it's beautifully designed. So when buying a product, I don't think you can ask for more than that. And being that it is also what I would consider pretty budget friendly, it's a win all around. But that's pretty much it for this video. I wanted to make a quick video because I have been searching for a monitor for a very long time. There was nothing that I really was drawn to. I wasn't going to drop $6,000 to $10,000 on the Pro XDR display. And I think that I found something that sits perfectly with what I'm looking for, what I value, and its price point. So if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, and all that good stuff. I will do a follow-up video on the screen once I've had a little bit more work time with it. And as always, live passionately and stay inspired. Bye. But as you can tell from today's video,